Part 28, Agreement that the two armies will exchange people for study. The blood of the soldiers in the guard camp has not dissipated. This time it was really fucking refreshing. After so many years, they have never had such a fun and dripping fight. A man and a man, which one has no blood? This kind of heroic feeling of blood and sweat, fighting the enemy bravely, can never be felt in a pleasure nest like the capital. It's no wonder that some people praise the festival. The man should take 5 hook, and the young man's spirit will never fail. They were still thinking about the life of the capital city, but these days Prince Duan has treated them with kindness, and their living conditions are no worse than the capital city. Many of them seem to have forgotten the past of the capital city. When I think of my family in the capital, I still sigh with emotion. Maybe it's not bad to make a decision to stay like Zhou Dan. It is always difficult to have both the family and the country. If you can make achievements and establish a career, you will be able to live up to this life. When they returned to the capital, even if Prince Duan had promised to upgrade them by 1 level, he was just a guard army. How could he do anything great after a mediocre life when their children grow up in the future? Will they blame themselves? Now that they have followed Prince Duan here, isn't it a chance? At least I can't make myself regret it. Many people's minds began to shake. The recruits watching their drills were full of envy at this moment, and they were able to compete with the legendary Red Robe Army from the frontier. This was a great blessing to them. No one in the frontier knew about the famous Red Robe Army. Even if their guard battalion loses in this exercise, they are still proud of them. Under the envious gazes of the recruits, the guards of the battalion had their backs straighter and their heads held high. As a man, you should have achieved great achievements and be admired by others. We can send some excellent guard battalions to exchange and study with the Red Robe Army. This is a good opportunity to learn from each other's strengths and make our guard battalion grow as soon as possible. Ming Yu lowered his head and whispered to Mo Zhang. Mo Zhang understood what Ming Yu meant, and nodded, yes, but he thought about it for a while, and said with a little embarrassment, "My prince, there is something under the subordinate. I don't know if I should talk about it or not." Ming Yu patted him on the shoulder, very trusting, and said, "If there is something that should be said inappropriately, just say anything." Mo Zhang thought for a while before saying, "My prince, the child you handed over to your subordinates has a good sense of beauty and is a good seedling. But his subordinates are really busy with affairs and don't have much time to teach them carefully. I have few talents and little learning, and I am really afraid of delaying the good seedlings." When he mentioned this, Ming Yu remembered that a Bing, the child he gave him to teach and train a few days ago. Ming Yu frowned. In his opinion, placing a Bing with Mo Zhang was the best choice at the moment, but Mo Yang's words did not seem to be the same. Hearing what he said, there seemed to be unfinished business. Ming Yu pondered for a while and asked, "Commander Mo, what do you mean?" Mo Zhang cupped his hands and said, "Didn't the prince just say to send someone to the Red Robe Army to exchange and study? I suddenly have an idea here, but I don't know if it will work." "Tell me about it." "My subordinate secretly thinks that there is another place suitable for a Bing. And what he has learned there will definitely be better than that in the guard camp, much more." Having said that, he raised his head and glanced at Ming Yu. Ming Yu raised his chin and motioned for him to continue talking. "What this subordinate is talking about is the Red Robe Army. If you can give a Bing to General Xie to teach him carefully, then a Bing's achievements in the future will definitely not be under my own. In the future, the prince will definitely have another right-hand man." Mo Zhang told himself, "The thoughts in my mind were completely spoken." Ming Yu's eyes lit up. Why didn't he think of this? General Xia's ability is beyond doubt. Who else in the world can compare to the famous general? Give a Bing to General Xie to teach him. No matter how bad he is, he will still have 30% of his skills. The more Ming Yu thought about it, the more rational it became, so he said with a smile, "It's still Commander Mo's thoughtful thinking, thanks to you for reminding this prince. Otherwise I'll miss a good opportunity." Ming Yu rubbed his chin, thinking that he had to ask for help with my own opinion, so I ordered someone, "Go and bring a Bing here." After speaking, he said to Mo Zhang, "Let's ask him for his own opinion first. If he doesn't want to, we can't force it." Zhang just put forward a suggestion. His suggestion, seeing that Ming Yu agreed, he also felt relieved. He really likes this child a Bing. If he can have a good place, his future prospects will be much better than his. Not long after, a Bing had come over, and he would not miss the battle between the guard camp and the Red Robe Army. Although it is not his turn to play, but watching the game from the side gains a lot. At this moment, like everyone else, there was still a flush of excitement on his face. Seeing Ming Yu, a Bing was happy and excited, but didn't dare to act rashly, and hurriedly saluted according to the rules. Ming Yu saw that he had grown a lot taller. And his originally thin body also had a strong tension. It seemed that his training was very effective these days. Ming Yu asked about his recent training results, and asked him whether he was used to the life in the guard camp with concern, and finally talked about Mo Yang's proposal. "A Bing, this is your own business, and we can't do it for you. When you make a decision, you can think carefully about whether to go or not." A Bing knew that the prince and Commander Mo were sincerely thinking about themselves. What is the place of the Red Robe Army is not something that people can enter if they want, let alone follow General Xie. He was originally reluctant to leave the guard camp, but he knew that the prince and Commander Mo had high hopes for him. Only when he was strong could he serve the prince well in the future. A Bing is willing. A Bing will definitely cherish this opportunity, learn his skills well, and serve the prince in the future. Ming Yu touched a Bing's head with great relief, and said with a smile, "In the future, you are not going to serve the prince, but serve the country and protect the people behind you, understand?" "Yes." A Bing remembers. "It's over. I just took this opportunity to strike while the iron was hot to settle the matter." Ming Yu raised his head with a smile and looked at Xie Yishou. Xie Yishou's heart tightened, and he took 2 steps back without a trace, for fear that Prince Duan would play his cards unreasonably and stick to him again. "General Xie, this prince has something to discuss with you. Don't worry, this is a great thing for you." Wen Yu Zhao pouted. Since the words came out of Ming Yu's mouth, they should be given a big discount. If there is really a great deed, how can they find their generals? Xie Yishou looked at him calmly. Seeing the sincere expression on Ming Yu's face, he knew that there must be trouble. He cupped his hands towards Ming Yu and said, "What is your command from the prince, but it's okay to say it." Ming Yu waved his hand. "Where is the order? It's just a trivial matter. There is a child named A Bing in this prince. He is smart and eager to learn. He is a good seedling. You know that a good seedling will not grow crooked in the end if it is not taught by a good teacher. In order to save the seedling, this prince wanted to find a good teacher for him. After much deliberation, the general would be able to do this job." Xie Yishou never imagined that the prince would find him a student. He frowned slightly and was about to refuse, but I heard Ming Yu say with a smile, "General Xie, don't be too busy to refuse. This prince knows that this request is a bit too much. But for the sake of General Xie, I have to mention it. Think about it, if you don't have any skills, what a pity it would be a personal inheritance. After 100 years, someone who inherits the mantle will have no regrets in death." What did the prince say? Where can there be such a curse after 100 years? Wen Yujiao quietly looked at Xie Yishou's complexion. Their general was really extraordinary. Hearing these words, his complexion didn't change. If it was him, he would be so angry that his heart would hurt. Your Majesty can hire another famous teacher. This minister is not suitable. A person with less talent and less knowledge must not be mistaken for his children. Xie Yishou's words clearly meant refusal. Don't be arrogant. How can it be inappropriate? Where in the world is there a second general? No one in the audience doesn't know what General Xia's skills are, but don't cherish it. If it can be cultivated in the future. It is the great fortune of the country to have a talent like General Xie, and you to have successors. Ming Yu said the right and wrong. But it seems that if Xie Yishou doesn't agree, he will be sorry for himself and the country. Xie Yishou knows that he must not be able to say what Ming Yu said. But it is not a trivial matter to accept a student-disciple. If he agrees, he must teach with all his strength, but how can he have so much time to teach a child in person? He is still thinking about how to make Ming Yu give up this idea. But Ming Yu seems to already know his thoughts and smiles. Actually, it's not that General Xie is to teach him personally. It's just that this child is placed in the Red Robe Army, and it's enough to be by General Xia's side. Isn't that asking too much? Xie Yishou was obviously relieved when he heard the words. So maybe he could accept it. He looked at Ming Yu's bright smile and nodded his agreement, but why did he feel something wrong in his heart? It contains a little bit of tricks. Because Ming Yu knows that it is impossible for Xie Yishou to suddenly agree to accept a disciple. He put forward such conditions at the beginning to increase the difficulty. And then he adjusted the conditions. Put it down, and the direct disciple is reduced to the personal follower. Compared with this, everyone knows how to choose. Ming Yu smiled like a fox. Since he agreed, it would be easy to handle. Bing is a very smart child. Created the conditions for him to follow Xie Yishou. Under the influence of his ears and eyes. He did not believe that Bing would not learn anything. When things are settled, Ming Yu is relieved, and immediately bids farewell and leaves. Wen Yujiao leaned in front of Xie Yishou and pulled at his small mustache. General, you agreed? He was puzzled. Xie Yishou glanced at him. Otherwise? Wen Yujiao laughed awkwardly. It's all right. Anyway, it's agreed that the two armies will exchange people for study, but it's just a personal follower, it's nothing to think about. It's not a big problem. Xie Yishou said no more. And said goodbye to General Wei and left. General Wei watched helplessly as the Red Robe Army and the Guard Battalion fought fiercely. He was also envious and jealous. But he also knew that there was really nothing they could do with the troops stationed in the border areas. Whoops! In the future, it will be good to just pick up some leftover soup and eat it.